Okay, I figured out my key to success. Now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith.
Welcome back. You're now locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood. Killer to my left, DK. You can probably hear it in my voice. It's gone.
Atwood had a rough weekend.
Very rough weekend, dude. Great weekend. Something I'll remember. A lot of the memories.
Well, bachelor.
I will only remember them
trip.
because I have them on
on your phone.
have them recorded. Yeah. Clearwater, Florida. Wow,
man,
what an experience.
Yeah, I went last weekend.
Yeah.
I went to DC. Yeah, and we just rode like scooters around. We didn't like get too trashed or anything like that.
We did.
Y'all did.
We were gonna do the scooters, and I'm glad we didn't. Man, I would have ended up probably in the emergency room. It was bad,
man.
Man,
Clearwater's cool though. Never been there,
dude. It's a lot like the Outer Banks.
Really?
So it's Clearwater is a barrier island, just like OBX.
I've been to Outer Banks once.
So a lot of Clearwater will actually remind you of like Surfside and Garden City, but there's just parts of it that have like it's unique. You're in Florida. There's freaking palm trees everywhere. We went to Hulk Hogan's bar.
No way.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's cool. Get a shirt or anything, man?
I did.
Have, like Hulkamania
I was gonna get a shirt for me, but they didn't have my size. But I got one for a guy that I work with. He's like super into that stuff, so I got one for him. But it was a great experience, man. Watched some of the UFC fights when we were there. We went to downtown St. Pete for that night, and once we got there, I mean, it was game over.
Game over.
Yeah, there was no.
This fight didn't end until what? 1 something.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we were out till like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But got to watch some of the prelims. Obviously, Sean O'Malley got the knockout.
Man, with a step back.
Yeah.
Shakook. Little step back right hand.
I love Sean O'Malley. Like I have some of his merch. I was actually wearing one of his floppy hats on the fishing trip, but I didn't see it going down like that. It was kind of like one of those situations that we had, a couple years back with like the Patriots. They're going to the Super Bowl. You don't really want them to win, but you just have a feeling they're going to. That's how I felt about Aljo.
Dude, and me too as well. Just because, the guy has been the champ for, he's beat some studs in that division.
Everybody.
And,
beat everybody.
I came up, he was CFFC. We fought in the same organization at CFFC out of Atlantic City. And, I can't remember if we ever fought on the same card or what, but I want to say we did. But I remember him coming up, and next thing you know, he's the champ at CFFC for 125. And he was just a stud.
That low.
Yeah, he was just a stud wrestler, and he just doesn't have the greatest striking in the world.
Yeah,
and that's
wrestling is man.
But see, a lot of wrestlers do that though. Their wrestling is just so crisp that they've They're striking. Something about wrestlers and striking, it just doesn't work out. Not all the time.
Right.
I mean, Aljo's like, I thought he was just going to take him down and he was going to just beat on him a little bit.
Yep.
And it'd
do
be
the
the
whole
same.
human backpack thing.
I thought it was going to be the same thing as Volkanovski.
Yep. Or Jan.
Yeah.
But it's great. That was the best case scenario for the UFC as an organization.
Yeah, because Sean O'Malley's got this. He's got a little McGregor-esque hype behind him. Huh?
I think more, especially now. And it's a bit different, right? Because Sean talks his shit, but I think he got his hype. Obviously, in the octagon, the Contender Series knockout was huge.
Yeah, and he's different. He's
he looks
he's different. He dresses different. He acts different.
Yep.
And and he fights good, man.
Yeah.
The kid's no slouch. Like the way he just flosses on people. When he's striking, he's just like fucking with people. And then just beep, he people piece him up real quick.
Yeah,
and that's very McGregor-esque, right? McGregor's just he did that when he was coming up too. But I think the swag that O'Malley has is cool.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody really in my time of watching the UFC, like fainting like that dude does. Like I've never seen somebody fake a 1, 2, 3 and then come back with a 2 and knock somebody out. Like he did against Eddie Wineland.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, Eddie's a bit older now, but still a great fighter.
Well, it's all like you don't know if you don't know what's going. He does his little fast twitch. I love doing that, man, because I started, and this was after. Let's see, I started feigning in fights and throwing feints and seeing their effects when I was 5-2 as a pro. Went up to Indiana and fought, and part of my game plan was to feint, and get this guy to bite a little bit, and it worked. And it just, man, I just kept feinting on him, and I'd hit him with a 2, feint, jab, jab, or feint, 2.
Yeah.
Eventually, he got mad and he took me down. I ended up submitting him, but I learned about the feints, back then, and then now I think. Now when I spar and stuff, I use them really good, because you can feint takedowns, you fake overhands, you can feint jabs, you feint kicks, you feint those straight kicks like I call them a foot jab that O'Malley did to Aljo at the very end there. He just threw a straight foot jab is what I call it, and those are effective, man. Especially they're going right in the diaphragm, right in the solar plexus area, and they suck, dude.
Yeah, you saw a couple of those. Did you watch the Weidman and
I did not.
Tavares fight? There was a couple of those there. One was called a low.
I was gone, so
shot,
my daughter moved in college last weekend, and so this weekend we went up there.
Oh, that's right. You went
drove up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep. Hung out with her, and she showed us around the college and stuff, and then my son was just acting like a animal, bro. Like, we went up to this hotel, and we're staying in downtown Spartanburg, super cool hotel and everything. We're like walking around trying to find a place to eat. He's not having it, man. He's not having it, dude. And it is what it is. And then, like, we're sitting there. I'm like, yo, the fight's on tonight. We were going to try to go find it. But, man, my son is just like, right now, he's 10 months old today. Today, he's 10 months old.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Crazy. And he's just trying to walk everywhere, and he wants to get down. He wants to go. And, so it's like, it was tough to try to watch that, man.
Same situation with me. Everywhere we had been in Clearwater on Friday night, they were advertising the fights. And then we decided Saturday night to go to St. Pete because that's where everybody was telling us to go. So we go there, and nobody has the fights on. I felt like I was in Austin, Texas. That's what it reminded me of. Like, there's a place called 6th Street in Austin, Texas that is very college. Ethan's nodding his head yes. I'm assuming he's been there. But, man.
We mean college.
Like, just young people. I don't know if there's a college around there in St. Pete or not. But
so you guys fit right in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially me.
Was Ben my age? Isn't Ben my age?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Ben. I'm not going to say too much on here, but Ben, oh, Ben.
Oh, man.
What a guy. What a time. So, yeah, like, we didn't get to watch anything. I had a friend of ours, Ryan, that was with us, and he would keep on, like, showing me, oh, my God, O'Malley knocked him out, and just different things like that from the fight. So
Ryan, Jonathan's friend Ryan, long hair?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Chiazzo. I think you met him up at the Bison Ranch. He was saying that you won, like, a some kind of thing you guys had up there. Was it the scavenger hunt or something?
Yes. Ryan was on my team, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I think Ryan was on my team.
But
I met Ryan before then.
Oh, did you?
I've known Ryan a little bit.
For a while?
He'd come over to Vicky's and stuff every now and then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's one of
Him and
that
Jonathan,
group.
they go
basically
back.
lived over there.
Yeah.
Josh was there too. I'm sure you know Josh Cavanis from up there. I think
If I saw him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it was just mainly just the Bison guys, and then like 2 extra people who have nothing to do with that.
Man, that's cool. Yeah, I was in Spartanburg, dude, and I couldn't get to watch it, unfortunately. But so I watched the highlights and everything, and I'm stoked to see how O'Malley's going to be with this. How he's going to be with the whole being the champ now and everything, and having all the guns coming for him. Because let's be honest, man, he hasn't had a super hard trip to the top.
Nope. That's what the hype will do for you these days, man. They call it Dana White privilege.
Yeah, Dana White privilege.
But I don't know, man.
It's a build up is all it is, man. It's like you're not getting anybody too hard, just like hard enough for you to beat. Like
just enough to where you can beat them, but you can do it in good fashion. You know,
set up
it
a
creates
highlight
that
reel.
cash cow. Exactly. Now that he's champ, I mean,
beating somebody like Aljo is not. I mean,
especially the way he did, right?
The way he did.
That was his first finish.
Yeah.
No, not his first finish. I'm sorry, but I think it was. What is it? There was a stat I was reading earlier. It has something to do with finishes. Maybe he's tied for the most finishes in that division now, or something like that. I don't know. I think he's currently the youngest UFC champion. But now you have Corey Sandhagen, Cheeto, Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, he was talking about Cheeto at his press conference.
Yeah, I mean, you have all these guys now. So it's going to be a tough road for him from here on out.
I like Cheeto.
I
like his style. I like he doesn't have the greatest swag. I don't get, and he trains with some good people out in California,
And he's already beat O'Malley.
Yeah.
People can say what they want about the ending of the fight, but I mean, it was a legal blow to the calf. I forget what he said. He hit some kind of nerve here that just killed his leg.
Dude, so I don't know if a lot of people don't remember. You guys remember the Chandler fight? I think he was fighting Pitbull or something like that.
In Bellator?
And he kicked him and his foot just went numb.
I don't know if I saw that, but I think I've heard Chandler talking about that.
Yeah, his foot went just limp, dude. This was when and
it happened to Chandler, right?
Yeah, it happened to Chandler. Chandler he's walking backwards, dude. I mean, his foot's just, I've seen that so many times, numerous times, not just in the UFC or Bellator. I've seen where the leg gets kicked and a nerve gets damaged and a person they have no control over their leg, man, and they're walking and it's just like they can't put their foot down. They're literally stepping on the side of their
and then you get an injury doing that.
Yeah, man. And then they're like fall backwards because it's not your foot. You're stepping on. It's the side of your ankle. So, yeah, that would be intense. But leg kicks and calf kicks, and that's another thing is like now when I spar, I hit the whole gambit of things. But when you're fighting there and you have so much on the line, the adrenaline's going, a lot of times we get one track minded. We're like, I'm going to punch him in the head. I'm going to take him down, and you're not thinking about the whole gambit. Let's light this dude up like a Christmas tree. Let's make that leg hurt. Let's make the body hurt. Let's make the head hurt. Let's kick the legs. Let's kick the arms. Let's kick the shoulder. Dude, I've been showing moves before, and I'm like, all right, here's what we want to do. We want to block right here when a kick's coming, and their shins hit my shoulder, and I mean, dude, my shoulder is dead after that. And it's just like kicks and they set up things, right? I use them now to set up my striking, set up my punches, or set up my boxing. And that's too many times I think, people as combat sports, doing MMA, not just combat sports. What am I talking about? Doing MMA, they get too caught up in just headhunting or wrestling whenever it should be, dude, I'm going to wrestle and I'm going to headhunt and I'm going to kick and I'm going to knee and I'm going to elbow. It's just boom, 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 boom. And I think a lot of times what happens is when we're in the fight, our mind gets in the way.
Yeah.
And we're too kind of like, so the good part about, me being able to do that in training is like I do that to guys that are fighting now for real. And I'm not fighting. So I think the reason I'm able to do it in training and be looser, I guess, because I don't have any issues, right? I don't have any nerves. I'm not having pressure. Right, that's what I was trying to look for is pressure. I don't have any pressure, man. And so it's like when that happens, man, I can loosen up. I can let things go. And that's what makes me want to fight again when I get in here. But I know it's like, but then I'm going to have all the pressure and I'm going to kind of stiffen up a little bit and I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to do things because I'll think too much. When you don't have the pressure, you don't think, man. You just act and react and have fun, So
I had a moment like that actually on this trip. Obviously nothing to do with fighting, but we went to Topgolf. and I suck at golf, dude. I mean, I have fun at Top Golf. I've never played an actual game of golf, but we're like,
I'm pretty good at Top Golf.
We're doing these little games, you know, and everybody's like, man, you got good form. Like, but I'm like, okay, well, if I have good form, then what's happening? Because the ball is going this way. I think I'm the only person there who hit the ball with a driver and somehow it hit the roof like right in front of me. Like, I'm hitting the machine, I'm hitting everything but the green.
And you're inebriated, I'm sure. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can't really use it as an excuse at this point. This is like right after we get off the plane,
wow.
we went straight to Top Golf.
Okay.
Like, we got all of our bags and everything with us.
Wow.
Yeah, because we couldn't get into the Airbnb.
Do you have a rental car or something?
No.
No rental car? Just dropped off at Top Golf with all your bags.
Yep.
Okay.
They had tags for us. They put our bags and stuff away. But
that's cool.
But finally, I got to a point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna try anymore. Like, I'm trying, and it's getting me mad because I can't hit the ball like these guys. Yeah. So I just said, fuck it, and I let loose on the form, and I started hitting the ball nice. And I'm like, man, why am I trying so hard? Like, I'm just going to whack it and see what happens.
Whack it.
You know, now I never got it with the driver, but, you know, using the irons, I don't know what they're called, the sand wedges or whatever. Like, I was actually getting it to the target.
On a sand wedge and a pitching wedge, you pick the ball up.
Right.
Loft it because of the angle of the club head.
And I was like all worried about keeping my arm straight coming back. But then finally I was just like, wham.
So pink.
Yeah.
Dude, you ever see I live on a golf course, and I'll be driving home, and I'll see these old people. I'm like, oh man, he's about to hit it, and it's some old dude. Form looks like garbage,
but that ball,
it goes straight. Yeah. I'm like, man, this guy like turns, twists his whole body and everything,
what I started
man.
Thinking, because no offense if Jonathan's watching this, but I was watching his form, and I was like, you know, my form is better than Jonathan's, but Jonathan is like hitting the ball, and I'm not. Yeah. So I just said, screw the form, man. And I started
they tell you about me at the bison trip? So part of the bison trip, the scavenger hunt, was the teams, whoever was closest to like this tree out in the middle of this bison farm or whatever, we had to hit, you know, balls, and we had to stick them as close to the tree as possible, and whoever gets close to the tree get something or whatever. I can't really remember. It was over a year ago, and everybody's going, and I'm boop, and I'm beating. I beat everybody. Ben, everybody.
Dang. Yeah. See, Ben seemed like he was pretty good, man.
Ben solid. They were
Ben was good at everything he does.
They were Ben's golf club, so you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like, So I think whoever gets closest to a tree, but I did pretty well, man.
That dude was smashing golf balls, dude. I mean, smashing them, dude. He was hitting them and like
they were just going.
Yeah, he was
to the very back of the net.
Yeah, so the net in the back has like 5 different panels, right? It goes like 1, 2, 3, 4. He was hitting them in like the third one. Wow. Just smashing them, which made me feel worse because it was me, him, and Josh. Like, we were on the same machine, so I was in last place every time. Yeah. I don't even know if I got past like 15 points in any
went
game
and played. So in DC, they had this cool little, like, I mean, you go downstairs in this like basement or whatever, and they had a whole like golf simulator set up.
Nice.
I mean, they had so many different things. They had a bar right there. They had like all kinds. It was cool, man. It was almost like a bowling alley, but for
golf.
Simulating golf simulators.
Nice.
Dude, they had this camera looked at you from the front, looked at you from back, and like recorded your swing, everything, and like showed your ball speed, showed your club speed, all that stuff, man. Mm-hmm. And you know, Austin and Grayson, they're all into golf right now, and they were just all into it. Oh my God, I haven't seen this before. Okay. But it's like different, man, because you can see the ball on the screen, but I'm like 6 feet away from 10 feet away from the screen, so when I hit it, it's just different, you know.
Yeah.
So
I want to get one. Well, no, actually, I don't. I would like to have one, but I don't want to pay for it.
There you go.
Because those things are very, very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, you know, like going back to what you were saying, I can feel that what you were saying in terms of fighting. You know, when the pressure's off, I think that can go with everything. You just perform better.
Perform better, man.
But now with O'Malley, like obviously there's more pressure on him than.
So to climb to the top is always the easiest, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The climb, I shouldn't say the
Well,
easiest.
I mean, I know. What you're saying.
Let me say hard.
Yeah.
Staying there is even harder.
Right.
Right. So it's like you're going. Oh man, this guy's hard. This guy's hard. Well, you got the kings at the top.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the top. Now you're the new king, and you got all these dudes climbing and crawling after you, man. Think of it as like King of the Hill for real.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Think of like Sean O'Malley's on this big giant mountain. He's got freaking 500 fighters that want to beat him coming up this mountain. He's just got to fight them off one by one. Now, Neil Say gets like 3 months to prepare for each fighter coming up the mountain, but,
Right.
It's like, but it's still, man, one dude is going to have your number. Somebody's going to have your number. I mean, maybe Cheeto has his number.
He had it before.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes guys just have your number, man.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva had Rich Franklin's number. Well, and multiple other people. He messed Rich Franklin up.
Was it Damian Maia that beat Silva? I can't remember. That was a long time ago, but it was somebody who at the time like wasn't a big name that beat him.
Chris Weidman.
Well, I know Chris Weidman beat him.
But that was on one of them was an accident.
Right. It was the same thing that
He stubbed his toe, broke his toe. Oh, fights off, accident. Nah, man, but that was wild.
But Aljamain said before the fight, because he's a big man, but that dude probably walks around like 170 or something, if
Jesus
not heavier.
Christ.
Yeah, that's what O'Malley was saying. And he was saying that after this fight, no matter what, he was going up to 145. And then after the fight, he's like, It's like, well, if O'Malley starts me like that, I can't imagine what Volkanovski's going to do. So I have some soul searching to do. He's like, I want the immediate rematch. And in my head, I'm like, if I'm the UFC, do I give you the immediate rematch? Like, do you deserve it? Yes. But maybe because of how it ended.
Definitely shouldn't deserve a rematch right off the rip. In my opinion, man, like, I don't think it was a short stoppage.
No. Neither do I. Do I.
I think because it ended that way, he should definitely work his way back up. Because let's say he fights somebody else. Let's say he fights Cheeto for number one. Like, whoever wins that gets the title shot.
Right.
I don't think Cheeto's wrestling's that great.
I'm not sure, man. I don't know if
I know he's got decent. I know he's got good jiu-jitsu. He trains with the Mendez brothers. Got good striking. Trains with fuck, I forgot that name. The guy's name. Wow, Jason Perillo with Perillo Boxing. Out in California, Costa Mesa. I think that's where he's at. But yeah, Cheeto's legit, and he could have O'Malley's number, but I mean, he couldn't too. Yeah. I mean, there's like O'Malley's could take everything that happened in that first fight of theirs and just totally flip the script, and just change it up. But what I like about O'Malley is I see all videos like crazy of him training in the gi.
Yeah. Oh, in the gi?
In the gi.
Yeah.
And I love that.
It's like, I think he's a purple
brown belt.
Brown belt. And also, people can talk shit about his ground game or whatever, but the dude competed in some grappling tournament. The UFC had a team, and I think it was him, Anthony Smith, and some other people, and he won his matches. Like,
yeah, man. Dude's legit in jiu-jitsu. He reminds me of kind of like Cowboy Cerrone in a sense. Cowboy didn't really – when Cowboy was – I mean, he didn't really train a whole lot of – I don't think he trained gi jiu-jitsu, but he trained a whole lot of no-gi. I mean, Cowboy's striking's legit, but you get him on the ground, he'll triangle you or armbar you, bro, real quick. And so, O'Malley, in that sense, he kind of reminds me of him some. So, I'm interested to see how everything's going to go with that whole new mix-up.
Yeah, me too.
But it's fun whenever you get a new champ, man.
Yep.
It makes things like fun and interesting.
When the NFL gets a facelift and it's no longer the same, or the NBA, and it's no longer the same teams running it every year. I mean,
Lakers,
it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's fun to watch. So, and this is kind of like reminds me of a time where it's kind of like the passing of the guard for MMA. Well, in the UFC, champions are starting to get older. Like, I don't want to say all the champions, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like, our favorite
Stipe's getting older.
Right, they're getting older. John Jones.
Yeah,
like,
there's definitely the new breed. Ending. The newer breed of fighters is starting to shift. And the same thing happened when I first started watching the UFC. Was like UFC 50, or 40-something, 47 or something like that. I was watching the UFC, and watching and man, those were old school guys. They would get just jacked up these days if you go in, you know, like Matt Hughes, right? Matt Hughes was the champ for the longest, and then GSP shows up, which was the newer breed of MMA fighter that trained jiu-jitsu, that trained boxing, that trained kickboxing, that wrestling. He did everything. He well-rounded, did Olympic lifting, and then GSP started taking over. And then you have, just so many different.
Was it Matt Serra?
Huh?
Did Matt Serra beat GSP?
Yeah, but it was like, that was a fluke, man.
Oh, was it?
I was like, he hit him once. He hit him and then jumped on top, boom, boom, boom. Next fight, GSP dismantled him. Like, I mean, there was he was like, I'm going to show you.
Do you think Johnny Hendricks beat GSP?
Man, I don't remember. I remember them fighting, but I don't think he did, man. What sucks is Johnny Hendricks is where now?
Yeah, nowhere.
I don't know, man. I think he I had heard, I knew he had, he opened up a restaurant in Texas, but I heard that went under. And then, so I don't know about him opening up a gym or anything like that either, but like,
yeah, I'm not sure. The only reason I knew about him was because he fought GSP, honestly, because back then it was one of those deals where GSP had gone through everybody. It's like, well, just put somebody new in there. We're tired of seeing them fight the same people.
Johnny was the man. Johnny, he came up, I remember watching him coming up on the scene, and then he went and got into WEC, started smashing dudes in WC, and then he left WC, got bought out by UFC. UFC swallowed up a bunch of people, took Johnny Hendricks in. Next thing you know, he's like dismantling people too. He's a wrestler, man. Dude's a stud wrestler. Really? I think Oklahoma State. He went to Oklahoma State and wrestled. I want to say he was All-American. But just knocks dudes out. And that's the cool thing about wrestlers as well. It's like some of them, when they do train their striking, or his striking is still not legit, like top of the food chain, but he's got Pax power.
Right. It's enough to get by based on his other skills. Yeah.
And so he can man, sorry, my neck is jacked up, bro. I trained this morning and just intense, man. I can't turn my head hurt so bad. So I got to do this every now and again. But anyways, man, dude had a serious right hand, and and that's the thing. What is good for O'Malley, him training in the gi, it sets him up for success in the future, and that's what I want to tell a lot of MMA fighters is, all right. So eventually the retirement, the plan. It's going to run out, right? Whether you make it to the UFC or what, here's what's going to happen. The UFC is going to keep on going. Yep. They're going to keep on getting new fighters are going to keep coming in there. Once you're done with there, boom, you're gone. UFC is going to keep doing their own thing, and people are going to talk about you like that's a UFC vet. And you're still going to get good stuff. Like, I'm thankful I got to fight in Bellator. It's helped me a lot in my career. It's gave me a little bit of clout that I don't necessarily deserve, in my opinion, but it was an accomplishment. But what did it, if I would have just kept on trying to fight and make it back to Bellator, make it to the UFC, and not work on my jiu-jitsu, not work on myself as far as school. I got one class for my business degree in college. So it's I have one class left, and I failed that class because we were opening up this place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I stopped just taking the class. One class.
Dang.
Yeah. And so, anyways, man, I just think a lot of MMA fighters don't set themselves up for success. And the problem is most people don't want to train MMA. It's just the reality of it. Most people. Right? Do you want to come in and train jiu-jitsu and get punched in the face while you're training jiu-jitsu? No, you don't want to wrestle. You don't my neck is jacked up from smacking my head in these walls, doing wall rounds and guys turning and smushing my heads or going for a takedown and dudes and me hitting my head on the wall or smashing my head into the ground or something, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's tough, man. And so a lot of people don't want to train MMA, and So being a black belt in the gi, not just in no gi, you know, if you're 10th planet black belt, that's awesome, and that'll help set you up. But if you're like I'm a no gi black belt, that's not a thing.
I didn't even know about that until I started training. Somebody had mentioned, I guess somebody coming from out of town, and they're like, yeah, I'm a purple belt in no gi, and in my head I was like, what?
It's not a thing. It's not like it's not a thing, man. It's like so like you don't know full jiu-jitsu, right? Like you got a belt just because that's what it is. Like 10th Planet has a belt system. They have a whole, you know, way to get your black belt and how you're supposed to do it, a whole system. But if you're coming from Joe Blow's academy or gym or wherever down in Podunk, Florida, and you come here and you're like, yeah, I'm a no-gi purple belt. It's like, what? Like, so you're a purple belt rash guard? You got a rash guard? You're purple rash guard? Mm-hmm. You don't like train in the gi, man. So you don't know everything. Like there's so much stuff to do jiu-jitsu that helps you in the gi that's like, if we roll, I'm going to just use that. I'm going to tool you up. I'm going to use lapels. I'm going to be getting grips and not let you move. Right. That's understanding jiu-jitsu. You're not going to be able to, like, in a real life self-defense situation, I'm not going to be rolling against somebody and not be able to grab their material on their pants or their shirt. Right. I'm going to be grabbing everything, man. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be putting my head in everything, every position. Put my head in your nose, in your ear hole, your mouth hole, every hole. I'm going to put my head's going there, bro. Like, I'm going to just make you miserable, and I'm going to hold you and pin you down with your uniform. And so just when you're in no-gi, man, it's just like you only know one way of jiu-jitsu, one pathway. And I think it hurts MMA fighters by just training. Sorry, that happened second time, bro. Second time. What happened last episode?
It's all good.
I just think you just hold yourself back, man, by not training in the gi. Even MMA fighters. I'm not fighting in the gi, so I might as well train no gi. But it's like, yeah, but it's like, what if that person's jiu-jitsu, it's dry, first minute of the fight, dude takes you down and you can't get up now, and you rely on sweat and slipperiness from being in no gi and fighting. You can slip and slide out of everything, man. Get somebody to know that gi doesn't let you escape, so it like makes you work on your technique. It makes you work on your abilities to escape really, really well. Another thing it does is, like, I got to worry about my neck. I got to worry about so many different things. It's kind of like in MMA, I got to worry about strikes too. I got to worry about my neck. I got to worry about different things. So with that person grabbing the lapel, I got to boom, boom, boom. I'm like, to me, man, you just got to train the gi to know jiu-jitsu 100%. So I could keep going on about this, but
Well, so you're a busy man. You're getting ready to go out of town and going to Vegas.
Vegas
for another competition, right?
So there's a competition not this weekend, but the next weekend. So myself, Megan, and Bodie, we're going to go during the same time as Master Worlds, the IBJJF Master Worlds, and Jiu-Jitsu Con and all that. But if I leave, Ethan leaves, it kind of, man, if we leave on a Wednesday, that would, like, we wouldn't have anybody to teach our mini rollers class. Yeah. We wouldn't have a lot of different things going on, and so I took one for the team, and I'm not going to go to Jiu-Jitsu Con. I'm going to kind of hang back. But so instead, Megan's never been to Vegas, so I'm like, yo, let's go. We're still going to go to Vegas.
A week before.
Nice. Still a business trip, We're going to stop by a couple gyms, make it a business trip. And, but for the most part, man, Wednesday, come back on Sunday. First time flying with Bodie. And, this is my first time in Vegas since I got flown back out for the Ultimate Fighter, like medicals and shit. So, like, I mean, over 10 years, man, 11, 12 years ago, something like that, since the last time I've been to Vegas, and it's changed so much, dude. So I'm stoked.
Right on. Well, so you got a lot of things you have to get done before Wednesday. I feel like shit today.
Poo-poo head over here.
I made a sacrifice. It was like, yeah, the pod's got to get done, so I will come. So we're going to wrap it up a little early.
Wrapping that up. Wrap that shit up, B.
Real quick before we go, when you think of the UFC and, you know, the fighters that you've seen over the years, is there a fighter that comes to mind when you just look at them based off appearance? You just don't expect the skill that they have just by looking at them. And it could be somebody who was champion or
BJ Penn.
BJ Penn.
BJ Penn. Man.
I was thinking Roy Nelson.
And Roy Nelson? Yeah, that's a good one.
That dude, that's the first time I've ever seen somebody that big kick somebody in the face.
Yeah, but dude, you see like BJ Penn, like, oh my God, it's like flabby, no type of definition. And he goes out there and he's just like,
yep. Yeah. Even I guess to an extent Ben Askren, but
the
guy that was just ground though. Like that dude never had any stand up.
But BJ he'd knock you out, or he'll tap you.
He had it everything, man. And didn't he get his black belt in like 4 or 5 years?
About 3 years. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Have you ever read the BJ Penn book? You should check that out, man. He got it. So he got
through the Gracies, right?
So he started out with Ralph Gracie, and what his dad did was like, listen, you can go to college, or I'll fly you out. You're going to live in California, and you know your school is going to be training jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. And so he would train a house academy for 2-3 times a day, you know, and then probably doing privates too.
I'm sure, yeah.
Worked his way up to purple belt or something like that. Then BJ started, you know, went to Brazil, met some dudes in Brazil, and became friends with them and with Novo União team, and then started flying down there in Novo União and then
just got a lot better, huh?
Got a lot better, but him and Half had a big breakup because of because you know
drama.
Drama, and then like next thing you know, BJ was getting promoted to brown belt by somebody else, and then he competed at Worlds at brown belt, and then, you know, it's a big thing, man. So he actually got his black belt like the day before Worlds or something like that, man. They were like rolling. It used to be a team thing. So with big teams, you go, and there's only 2 guys that can represent in the weight class for the team.
Okay.
You know, so you'd have to roll, and whoever has that top seed, So he would do that, and so he would represent the black belts for Novo União back in the day. But I mean, long story. We can keep going about BJ Penn. I'm a huge BJ Penn fan.
Me too. Loved watching.
I watched him fight at UFC 108. I was a big BJ Penn fan, man.
Right on. Well, shoot, man, go ahead and take us out.
Guys. So yes, short podcast today. But if you guys want, please like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. That's the only way we keep cranking these things out, man. We're approaching 20, if not on 20.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, man.
I think we are on 20, actually.
So if it is, awesome. Please like, share, comment. We answer the comments. We talk to you guys. Follow us on Instagram as well, Locked In with DKA. And, you know, keep track of everything that's going on with combat sports and what we got going on too here. Yep. So anyways, thank you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and until next time.
Out.